Hello, everybody. My name is Germán Coloma, and today I'm going to talk about my illustration of the International Phonetic Alphabet about Argentine Spanish. Okay, Spanish is a language that is spoken by a lot of people in the world, more than 470 million people, and roughly 10% of them live in Argentina. So, what I'm going to talk about is basically the way we speak here in Argentina, and in particular, the accent that we have in the area of Buenos Aires, which is the capital city of Argentina. It roughly covers something similar to the 70% of the Argentine population, because almost 70% of the Argentine population speaks with a similar accent like that. And also the people who live in Uruguay, we can consider it as the same dialect area, the southeast of Argentina and Uruguay. So that's what I'm going to present today. Here is a map of South America. You can see where Argentina is, where is Buenos Aires, where is Uruguay, the other surrounding countries of Argentina, which are Paraguay, Bolivia, Chile, and also Brazil. And this is the consonant table of Argentine Spanish. You will see that we have 17 consonant phonemes, and I have also marked 5 additional sounds, which are the main allophones of some of those phonemes. So the ones that are between parentheses are allophones, while the other ones are the true phonemes of Argentine Spanish. As I said, we have 17 phonemes, and one particularity is that we do not have one phoneme that they have in Spain, which is the theta phoneme. There they make a distinction between S and theta, and for example, the word casa, meaning house, is pronounced differently from the word caza, meaning hunting. But here in Argentina and in almost in all countries of Latin America, people just say casa. They use a single phoneme. The casa and caza are homophones, and they are both pronounced as casa. Moreover, the phoneme S is pronounced differently when it appears before a consonant. That's a characteristic of Argentine Spanish shared with other varieties such as Andalusian Spanish, Caribbean Spanish, but not shared with other important varieties too, such as Castilian or Mexican Spanish. So, for example, here in Argentina, the word pasto, meaning grass, is pronounced with the aspiration, pasto, while the word paso, meaning step, is pronounced with the true S sound. So we have the two allophones, S and E, according to the position of the phoneme in the word. Another characteristic of Spanish is that we have different phonemes for the tap ere and the trill r. So we contrast, for example, pero, meaning but, and perro, meaning dog. And this is standard in all varieties of Spanish, both in Spain, Latin America, wherever. The most distinctive thing of Argentine Spanish is probably the phoneme esh, that we use it for words written with orthographic Y or orthographic double L. For example, playa, meaning beach, lluvia, meaning rain. Those words are pronounced with the phoneme esh, which is almost in free variation with the phoneme esh, well, not the phoneme, with the sound esh. So esh and esh would be two alternative sounds for the same phoneme. And in some places of Argentina, it's more common to hear sh than sh. For example, playa instead of playa. But the important thing is that for us, it's just the same. So those two sounds are just allophones of the same phoneme. What is not the same for us is the semi-vowel or glide ye. We make a clear distinction, for example, between hierro and yerro. Hierro means iron, yerro means mistake. And that is something that doesn't happen in other Spanish accents. They tend to pronounce both as hierro, but we do a very clear distinction because our phoneme esh is very clearly fricative and sibilant. So that's why we make a clear distinction between those instances. That was basically all I wanted to say about consonants. Concerning vowels, we can say that Spanish has a very simple system of 5 vowels, I, E, A, O, and they contrast in all positions, both stressed and unstressed. And the only important glides that they have are the glides. I mean, the only important allophones that they have are the glides, ye and we for e and u. And those glides are used in diphthongs. For example, piano, mean piano, cuero, that means leather. You will find those vowels pronounced as glides. And sometimes e and o can also be pronounced as glides. For example, when you have connected speech, when you pronounce words in connected speech, you may find instances such as ese avión, means that aircraft, or lago azul, that means blue lake, where the e and the o become glides. Ese avión, lago azul. Okay, another thing that I wanted to talk about was some differences that we have between the regions of Argentina. I spoke basically about the southeastern region where Buenos Aires is, but we also have at least three additional dialect regions, which are the northeast, the northwest, and the west of the country. And they have some particularities. For example, the main particularity that we have in the northern regions of Argentina, the northeast and the northwest, is the pronunciation of the trill, R. They tend to pronounce it as a voice alveolo-palatal fricative, R. They say perro instead of perro, rama instead of rama. And another difference that you can find in a region of Argentina, which is actually the northeast only, is the existence of a lateral palatal sound L, which is used written with double L. So they have like an additional phoneme. L is a different phoneme than J, esh. So they make a difference, for example, between alya, meaning he finds, and aya, meaning there is. And that's a difference that doesn't exist in the rest of Argentina, in most parts of the Spanish-speaking world. In the West, the main characteristic is that they don't use very much the esh as a realization of the phoneme esh, and they instead use a more common variant of the phoneme, which is the ye, like non-sibilant fricative. They say playa, lluvia, haya, instead of playa, lluvia, haya, which are the typical Buenos Aires pronunciations. And well, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the stress. In Spanish, stress is very important, so you can find words in which when you change the stress syllable, you change the meaning. You have esta and está, those have different meanings. You have three-way contrasts, for example, in situations like término, termino, and terminó. Those are three different forms of the verb terminar, and also a noun related to that. And changing the position of the stress syllable, you change the meaning of the word. Okay, so now the last thing I'm going to do is to read the version of the North Wind and the Sun that says like this. El viento norte y el sol discutían sobre cuál de ellos era el más fuerte, cuando pasó un extraño viajero envuelto en una ancha capa. El viento y el sol convinieron en que quien antes lograra obligar al viajero a quitarse la capa sería considerado más poderoso. El viento norte sopló con gran furia, pero cuanto más soplaba, más se agarraba el viajero de su capa. Por fin, el viento norte abandonó la empresa. Entonces brilló el sol con ardor e inmediatamente el viajero se despojó de su capa, por lo que el viento norte tuvo que reconocer la superioridad del sol. Okay, that's basically it. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you want, you can read the actual illustration of the IPA that is published in the Journal of the International Phonetic Association. It was published in the year 2018. So bye-bye, everybody. Thank you very much.